All right,
Yes, yes.
we are back.
Welcome. What's up, guys? How you doing?
We're back, man. Welcome to the Collective Bargaining Podcast. I
Season's
am.
greetings, guys. Season's greetings.
You already know. You already know. This is Atway Campbell, co-host Michael Hercules. We're here to
Yo,
host the
yo.
podcast. Tell you what it is all about basketball. We are getting very close to the December 25th schedule, people. Very close. Very
But it's
close.
it's it's a little scary if you think about it. But yeah, we
Yeah,
are very close.
this might be the first time without a quality Christmas game, right?
Listen, everybody has COVID. Everybody. That
This
is crazy.
stuff is different right now, man. It is different right now. Um, no, that Lakers Nets matchup is looking in jeopardy right now. I'm sad to say it, but the mere fact that players have missed a couple games, it means that you're looking at maybe players
At least
being
a
a
week.
little bit off, even despite, because we know, even though you're taking up shots, etc., a lot of these guys have mild symptoms. It's not the game. It's not the
Yeah.
same
It's
intensity.
that gameplay. Yeah.
No. And you know this is generally the 25th is when you see maybe some hints of what teams could play like, the intensity level at least in the playoffs. It tends to be some of the best games that you typically see for the season, the regular season. And now we don't have that. So, I mean, it's just so much of COVID. And you know what? I want to give a shout out to, all of the families that affected by the virus. It's been, I won't spend too much time, but I just, given the amount of infections that are taking place right now and the amount of
It's
people
crazy.
affected, we have to give a shout out to those, that have ultimately passed away, etc. So, it's becoming a problem again, and I hate to say it, it's affecting the game we love. And then that's pretty sad going forward. So it looks like Christmas is really, I don't know what to make of it. I don't know what we're gonna actually see given the situation. I mean, the Nets were like wrecked, wrecked.
The Nets, the Bulls.
They had
Um,
like what,
man,
5 players six players available.
Yeah, Toronto was like, they had they have a whole. You come up the airport. I remember I saw a report today. One of the coaches said we come up the airport. We normally have 3 buses
Yeah.
for for the 30 people, and now we had like 3 buses waiting. Only like 8 of us
Wow.
because everybody was in safety protocols.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. You.
Don't forget the staff had to go in safety protocols as
Yeah. You
well.
can't prepare for that. At that point, you just have to call the
No,
games off. I. You know what? I would have said when maybe about a week and a half ago when we realized it was getting really bad, because it looks like what was happening was you had guys getting through the protocols, somehow getting through the testing and still getting infected. So you had guys playing against other teams
yeah, that would
and
affect.
infecting other teams, man. And I think at that point you got to give the league maybe take 5 days off, you know, kill those
You
games,
agreeing with this, Friday? Wow.
kill those. Well, I'm saying a week to 2 weeks ago, so that you at least have a chance to get the holiday games in, because that's when people might
Okay.
have a
Yeah.
time off to take in the games. That's your highest rated games, for the
Yeah,
regular
because
season, right?
everybody's at
Yeah,
home for Christmas.
yeah,
So
exactly. So that's your showcase. So you wanna if you wanna target that, I would say it's worth it to compensate those teams and just take 5 days, man.
well,
It makes sense,
it's a
right?
little late right now, but I think they were hoping that
Yeah,
since they caught it that early,
yeah.
like and put everybody in the protocols that early, so
No, I
by
don't
the
think
time
they.
the time by the time that day comes back around, then
Yeah,
everybody should be healthy enough. But
yeah,
every day is like one guy going in. Look at Trevor Ariza just went in,
yeah.
and he just
Li-
came back.
He just came back. He just came back. Now another thing too is the
Yeah.
fact that it the virus is like roaches, man. So you see one, tell yourself there's like 50 other infections floating around.
Definitely.
And that's the case with this. So when the NBA thought, all right, we could manage this, it's just like the rest of the country, man. They were like, Yeah, we're not gonna order all these tests because we got this under control. We spotted a few. We know this. Yeah, right. Look at us right
Yeah,
now, right? Look
you
at
need
everywhere
to
right now. So
crazy.
this one, thankfully, is kind of looking like a lot of mild cases. So hopefully that means less hospitalizations and all
Yeah,
of that
they
stuff
said
moving
that
forward.
the variant itself is a little milder than the ones before it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
So I'm definitely happy for that because
yeah,
that's something else. So I got a quick random video for you, man. And
okay, let's get
you
it.
know, this particular kid has been making the headlines for a while. I've seen him in some reels on my timeline
All right,
on the gram, right? And at first, but now it's like heating up. Now he's like mainstream. You've seen him on Sports Center and different things.
oh,
So
all right,
just a couple
cool.
plays. Again, I apologize for the volume. The
Let's get
the
it.
whole feature of putting videos out to you, the audience, is still in beta, so we can't really manage the volume live. So we'll get that under control. So I would advise that you dip your volume just a little bit going into this. All right, let's get it.
Craziest sequence I've seen this year.
All right, so
I
here's the thing
mean,
about this sequence. It's a great sequence. Yo, if the game was within 2 or 3 points, that's a
yeah,
great sequence. The
right,
game was it was a blowout.
yeah,
It was a blowout. The team in white was winning in a blowout.
yeah,
And I mean, he's a great talent. I just can't remember his name right now, but he's a great talent.
yeah.
It's
His name,
specifically
yeah,
because what he's doing with just one hand, right? I don't think guys understand how difficult it is to play basketball with just one hand. Like I know some guys that can't lay up with their left, but that's fine. They still have the
yeah,
support
yeah, yeah,
of their hand to shoot. They still have
right,
it to hold guys off when you're dribbling
right,
because you need your offhand to dribble. And I
right,
think they understand how difficult it is to dribble to that level against I shouldn't say elite defenders, but up and coming defenders,
yeah,
right? And to be able to dribble through them one handed with no offhand,
yeah.
get to the bucket, dunk, shoot, do all these things. It's tremendous. I'm happy for him though. He's
Yeah.
getting the attention that he needs.
I mean, regardless, right? You're still playing the same competition at that level. So your team's getting blown out, yes, but the starters are still on the court with you.
Yeah, true.
And we just saw this guy. Like it's not just once on the first play you saw him beat two defenders. The ball actually he put that ball through the defender's legs, by the way,
Yes, he
on the
did.
drive, on the first drive.
Yes, he
On the
did.
second drive, he was double teamed. Notice he's being double teamed, which
Yeah,
suggests
because
that
he's the only one that's
he's the one that's scoring it.
yeah.
Yeah, he's the talent on the squad. So they figured, yeah, we'll double team you and we'll put pressure on you because
Mhm.
regardless of your talent, your hand you not having one hand is still going to limit you to a certain degree in terms of your
Exactly.
directional play. So they
Exactly.
figured, okay, we'll put a body on you. But he dropped. Notice he dropped the defender on the last play.
He
On the
did.
last play.
That
Now
was crazy.
he was offered a division, and his name is Hansel Emmanuel Donato.
Right. Hands up.
And
Mm.
he was offered a D1 scholarship to
Yeah.
Tennessee State. Now I can't recall if he took the scholarship or not.
Not sure.
But I mean, what I just saw there. I mean, when I saw it for the first time, I was like, I
Crazy,
mean, I have no excuse in my life for not being able
right?
to do stuff like, I mean, it makes you some things you see in life that just make you rethink, man. They make you rethink and go back to the drawing board like, man, what's my excuse? When I see
I don't
stuff
have
like that,
any.
I'm like, oh my Lord,
Yeah,
one hand,
one-handed, bro.
which means you know where he's going. You know where he's going.
But the thing is about it, I watched like a couple videos of him. I saw a
Yeah,
couple highlights,
yeah,
and he does almost everything that you would do with two hands. He
yeah.
has that hezzy. He has the
And he
he
shoots.
has the yeah. He shoots.
And
He
he
has
shoots.
the in and out. He does the in and out so well. It's like you
Yeah.
think he's actually gonna go left, and then he
And he
just pulls it
switches.
back around.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like, yo, you can't. Even though you know he's one-handed and he can't do a
Yeah.
crossover like that. He switches it quickly with her back to their hand, and I was
It,
like, God
yeah,
damn.
it makes really on paper, you think about it going into it without seeing him, you're like, nah, this guy's not gonna be doing that. But you look at him in the clips and it's like, I haven't seen a live
Exactly.
game of him, but
Me
you go
either.
online and you just see clip after clip and it's like, okay, how is he doing that? But it goes back to the whole premise, right? When you're deprived of something, you tend to work harder towards it, right? And I think
That's true.
this kid is playing with that chip on his shoulder. The circumstances on which he lost his hand is really tragic. The fact that a wall fell on his hand and
Yeah, that's
he was
I
stuck under
was.
the rubble for like 2 hours, more than
Yeah,
that. It was like a couple hours, and he ended up having to amputate. But kudos to you, man. This guy is
crazy.
balling out right now.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Did you see the dunk contest that
no,
he took
no,
part?
I did not. We may have to get a
Yo,
clip of that on here one of these days, man.
yo,
Yeah, because
that was
I've
crazy.
seen some stills of him in the air, and he
Right.
looks like he's taking flight. Looks like
No,
he
he's
has
he's
that.
he's getting flight, and
Yeah,
and that's why again I say guys don't realize how difficult it is because he's one-handed and doing he's throwing the ball off the ground, catching it, dunking it. He's bouncing it off the ground,
yeah,
right? Before he jumps, bouncing it through his legs, catching it, and I'm like,
yeah,
bro, this
timing.
is barely. Guys in the NBA can barely do this
Yeah, yeah.
with
Your
two hands, and
timing,
you're doing this
your
with one.
your timing and doing that
Yeah,
has to be impeccable, impeccable. To pull those things off, it's insane.
definitely.
Let me ask you a question about him though. You know, he gets recruited to Division 1, right?
Right.
You see how the league is set up right now, right? So you no longer need college. You no longer need, to stay there, really.
Go to
Um,
the G League.
but you can get paid at the college level right now, which is a huge change that we've seen over the
Yeah.
past few years, right? Uh, you see this guy going to the G League or getting that shot potentially. I mean, I could see the NBA kind of, you know, hmm, just kind of thinking, well, this guy would bring a whole different audience, a whole different dynamic to the league. If I think they wouldn't just walk him in, right? But I think
It,
if he was to prove himself, because what he's doing is not he. I could understand it, and I'll let you answer the question, right? But I could understand what I want to say first is that I could understand if he was just good, but he's doing stuff that looks elite when you look at him. Right
yes.
now, I just haven't seen him against the best in the country, that type of competition, right? But what he's doing looks legit. He's
Yeah. So
standing out. So your thoughts?
I mean, what he's doing from the clips I've seen, the small
Yeah,
clips I've seen, I haven't
yeah,
seen
yeah,
much on him. Similar, I haven't really seen any games with him
yeah,
to know for sure if the
right,
highlights, it's just padding stats per
yeah,
se.
yeah,
But even if it's just a stat padding, what I'm seeing is phenomenal
yeah,
for his age, for
yeah.
his disability. You can't even call it a disability anymore because
Guys on
he's making it
11,
seem as if there's none,
none. Yeah,
right?
none.
So, but to say whether he's gonna go to the NBA straight, well, as in a G League, or if he's gonna go, it depends on what he wants. And I haven't seen enough I haven't had interviews with him enough to tell you definitely how I know he's gonna be thinking
Yeah,
to
yeah,
sure. But I mean, the fact that he's going to get paid now to go to NCAA, and you're going to get paid more, I think, in the G League.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, right. So it all depends on what he wants. So
yeah.
some guys just be like, yo, my mama said I need to get a degree or
I
something, something
I
like that.
I think the brother is made either way you look at it, right? Because when you look at his trials,
Oh yes,
tribulations, companies are gonna dive in on that. Look, this guy's made it here with a disability, and really, he has not allowed it to hinder him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So from that perspective, I think that's a huge selling point, man.
The thing is, where would he get where has the bigger market? Does the NCAA have the bigger market, or would the G League have the bigger market? Because don't forget, the G League is overshadowed by the
Yeah.
NBA.
Oh yeah.
We don't
yeah.
get this. We don't get the showcase that
Right.
I think we don't get the showcase of
Yeah.
the G League as when like a guy's in the NCAA.
No, that's true. Well,
Right. So if it'll be the story would be better if you went to the
So
NCAA.
this is what I believe. This is what I firmly believe his trajectory could be. Right. I think you spend 1 year in, and then you attempt. I'm not saying he gets in, but he attempts to go for the G League, right? Immediately. Now, if he's way above, I don't know what his rank is right now, but if he's way above in his rank, then he goes into the draft class, gets drafted by a team, right? Maybe second round or so, late second round,
second round.
Yeah, a team that doesn't really need a bona fide starter right now. But that's a major. You look at Taco Fall, for example, with Boston, right? He was a crowd favorite. Spent most of his time in the G League, but once they put him in, they brought him in. He was like he had the whole garden like shouting at the top of their voices, right? So for me, I think he gets that kind of love. That's his minimum right there. But the market for his marketability, let me call it that, is humongous because of what he would have achieved by making it to that level. So so that's where I think he is. I don't think we're talking like NBA. We looked at that ranking that we do, and I got some of that later for you. But we look at that, and it's like I don't think we're talking like generational player, but I think we're talking like a exceptional talent, or something along those lines, or maybe NBA player level. The mere fact that you've made it there is an achievement. So I think in that sense, he's made.
Facts.
Yeah. So what's been going on in the NBA, man? I know we got some scores, so we matched up. How do we do, man? How do we do? I'm anxious about that.
The last time we had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 games. Let's just say I got 4 wrong. You got 3 wrong. So you're the winner this time again.
All right, there we go, man. There we go. I might have to build a streak here, to be honest, man, because the way this is going, man, I'm tearing it up. I'm tearing it up.
You got lucky. All these COVID protocols.
Those COVID protocols have wrecked every single team, man. It's even worse when you look at fantasy. In that sense, we're just in a different time right now. And something that is something that people haven't really discussed is the fact that because people have been wearing masks like consistently for the past 2 years, you haven't really had to deal with much regular colds and flus. So when those things hit you after that time, man, it's like a train.
Listen, I haven't gone to cold or anything in about 2 years now, right? I know for sure if I could catch a cold right now, I'll be done.
It's gonna be a wreck. It's gonna be a wreck.
Done.
Trust me, your body's gonna be like, what is going on?
Exactly.
But no, so I could imagine, man. It's just from a fantasy standpoint. By the way, in NBA news, I do know that the NBA Players Association is actually in negotiations to reduce the protocol length from 10 games.
Yes.
10 days, sorry. So I'm not sure what the intended amount is, but I think they're going to look at the science, of course, and try to work that out. But I thought there's a provision in there already for, you know, once you test negative twice, then you're allowed to
You
join,
have to,
rejoin, right?
yeah, you have to show like 2 days of negative tests or something like that. 2 or
Right.
3 days of negative tests.
So my whole thing would be, why change that 10-day protocol if you already have that in place? Maybe it's something to do with salaries or something, because it's not like you can come back if you're not testing negative, right? So
Exactly.
I'm not sure what's really going on there.
Right.
But
So
I guess
they have it here based on upon testing, the
Mhm.
agreement would allow players to shorten quarantines down to 6 days, and that's just based off the which test was that's the 10-day the 10-day quarantine protocol.
Okay.
Right. It was
Okay.
shorten it down basically to 6 days. Instead of 10 days, it'll be 6.
Okay. No,
So I'm not
that's
sure.
yeah. No, I mean, yeah, maybe it's based on all the testing that they've done, and they're
Yeah.
looking at the science and how quickly the players are recovering. I mean, the NBA athlete is top, right, in terms of health and wellness, and
It should be.
to maintain, at least should be. Yeah, shout out to Zion. But yeah, yeah, it should be
Shade.
definitely. I had to mention that because that guy is wrecking my soul in fantasy, man. So I had to call
Okay.
him out. Had to
Yeah,
call him
fair
out.
enough.
Yeah. No. If they have the science that proves it, then I'm all for it, man. Bring them back
Yeah,
in.
I
But
agree with that.
yeah, but
Because it's a multi-billion-dollar industry.
yeah,
So
it
at the
is.
end of
It
the
is.
day, your product isn't looking that great right now.
Right. And I could imagine players, since this is coming from the Players Association, I could imagine you're not getting paid, or maybe there's some reduction in salary over that time
Exactly.
period.
That you're
They're
not
trying
playing.
they're trying to get rid of that, right? So so we missed some so there was some big games, right?
Yeah,
Um
we did.
these past days. So did you get a chance to look at that Suns Lakers game?
You mean the one I called that was going to be a blowout?
Yeah. One of the
I
few you are.
watched. Yeah.
But I mean, it was a 1 game difference, right, in the betting that we did, right? So I mean,
Yeah.
that's totally understood.
Yeah.
But that game started off well. It looked like it was gonna, and then we had Carmelo being ejected. We had, what else did we have in that game going on?
We had THT and Isaiah Thomas going 2 for 16
Yeah,
from the
2 for
field.
16. Yep.
Right. It was, and the thing is, they were still in the game at halftime. Even in the third, they were slightly still in the game.
I'm actually looking for a piece of paper, folks. Lakers fans right now with that 10-day contract. I would rip this piece of paper, but I can't because it's got some important stuff on it. Give me a piece of paper, man. But anyways, yeah, you just gotta rip that stuff up, man. That 10-day contract. I'm sorry, man. Your
Really?
biggest well, listen, man. Listen. Here's the thing, right? It's kind of sad, but I'm looking at his play. He deserves to be in the NBA.
Right.
I just don't see Lakers keeping him because of the fit.
So the thing I was talking to someone, I think maybe yesterday, and we
Yeah.
said that the game impacted him more than it did THT, because THT is there. The Lakers saved him from trades.
Yeah.
So
Kyle
he's like a
Lowry.
Kuzma. He's like a
Shout out-
Kuzma right now.
Shout out to Kyle Lowry, man.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
He's like a so THT is like a Kuzma right now for the time until he proves that he's not worth it like Kuzma did, right?
Yeah.
So he's kind of safe. You ain't safe. What are you doing going out there not producing? I mean, you produced well the first game, right? Make it seem as if okay, well, it's right. We can keep
These guys
him.
here to
He's an
shoot.
instant
Yeah.
offense.
He was the
right?
top scorer
And
in that
then
game, or close to at least. I can't remember. But
in the last game, the
his
Sun
first game. His first game.
No,
he
the
had
first
like
game he had like
19.
16 or something like that.
Yeah.
16
He
to
had
19 points or something like that.
Yeah, 19, I
Right?
think.
19?
Yeah.
There we go. Right? He looked good.
Yeah.
And then in that game, you can't when you have a 10-day contract, there's no off
room.
days.
There's no room.
There's no room
There's no
for
room.
off days.
There's no room.
You just got to come out every night and produce at least I think he needed to produce at least 15 points a night.
And we spoke about this too, because we spoke about this probably 2 episodes ago. We said, listen, this guy's coming in on a 10-day, but they have some massive games in front of them. Like, and we pointed out this Suns game, you have to
Have to
you
produce.
have to produce. Even if it's not, you realize your shot is bad, you could still be an asset on the court. This
Correct.
guy was stinking it up, man. Like, just the
Right.
choices, we're not just talking about his ability to shoot, but his choices during the game were horrible.
The shot selection.
Yeah, it
Jeez,
was
that was
horrible,
tightly.
man. It was bad. It was bad.
No, it
And,
was bad.
they don't have an easy schedule. I mean, they have the Spurs who play. Listen, the Spurs record is probably where
It's,
they need to be, but they execute. They have a
the thing is, I don't
well-coached
think their
team.
record reflects
No,
where
it doesn't.
the type of game that they play, and that's only because they don't have like a star player
Yeah,
per se to
it's the
help them get over
consistency.
it.
It's the consistency, man, of
But
having that
it's
star
yeah,
that's gonna come out every night. But on a given night, that's the type of dangerous team
they
that
can
can give you a
they can kill
problem.
you. Yeah,
And when you're playing LeBron James, the Lakers, I think it amps guys up. So
does
everybody's coming for the Lakers, and it just
bring
so
your A
happens
game.
you have when you have stars not playing well, you're gonna get beaten every night. That's why they're at 500, because they haven't figured out their defense. We've seen little snippets of a team that can do some stuff.
Yeah,
In fact, that first half with the Suns, I mean, it's
they seem fine.
let me rephrase this, because LeBron James came out like hot. Everything was falling, and listen, the man is like 37, man. So you could only depend on a 37-year-old for so long before things get dicey in a game, man. You
So I
have
mean,
to step
what
up, man.
how you say this, right? But how old was MJ again when he won number 6?
No, I mean, well, you got to consider not just the age, but the mileage,
The
too,
mileage?
man. The
Fair enough.
mileage.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
He's already like what, MJ played only what, 13 seasons? So yeah, so picture that, man. The mileage on those, plus the playoffs too. He has more playoff games logged than MJ
Yeah,
at
he
this
does have
point
more.
too.
I
So
mean, he played more game sevens than MJ did.
yeah. Well, there you go. I mean, it's just how many times you're gonna put this guy. It kind of reminds me in a sad way of D'Antoni Kobe. That relationship, what they did to him. It's not as bad, because I remember watching that. I remember being like, man, as much as I enjoy seeing Kobe doing his thing and dragging this team to the playoffs, you just knew deep down on the inside the load was gonna catch up eventually.
Oh yeah,
And
definitely,
just
because
it happened,
he was playing 40 something minutes a game,
and it
almost the whole
happened in
game.
the most tragic way, man. We lost what, a year and a half,
Well, basically 2 years, but
2 years, right, of Kobe. So I mean, it's just kind of sad, man. But I'm watching this and I'm like, okay, you have a 37-year-old dropping 30 plus points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists on you every night,
every night.
logging major minutes, all your offense, having to go through him to survive games against bone average teams, man, in the league. It's not sustainable. What other games out there that were big during that time, man? I mean, during
Man,
that break, by the way, Luca,
I'm trying.
I think, has been playing great, right? During that
Yeah.
spell, last few games.
Yeah,
Um,
they fixed a couple things on the squad, so he seems to be playing a little better now.
yeah.
I'm not sure, like,
That's probably something we gotta dive into some detail on. What exactly did the Mavs do to switch things up? So expect some breakdowns on that. We'll dive deep into it and see what we can find there.
definitely.
DeRozan as well from Chicago, playing out of his mind, dropping another 38. Was it 38? Yeah, 38.6,
Yeah, 38.
6 rebounds on the Lakers twice this season. So, but
Bruh.
he's holding up a team that's like, I mean, he's legit now in the NBA conversation. With how things are going, because you don't have Levine and you're still winning games. So, I mean, that
So yeah, he's a legit MVP
absolutely
candidate.
one game behind pretty much the Nets. I mean, hey, can't go wrong there. So 1.5 games, that is.
Yeah.
Now, in what are the games that we missed during that time?
Not much,
Yeah,
they weren't much great games that out there. Um,
yeah, I would
since we
say
since we last thing,
I have to admit, yeah, I'm looking at it now. We
they
had
didn't
some
have much great
upsets. You
games.
had the Cavs beating the Bucks, but
Yeah.
they're
Would you call that an upset though, based on the season?
well, and plus you're looking at, I think they have players in protocol as well. So,
Yes.
I don't think the Bucks had Gianni. So, and you look at their lineup when you go to when you go to the lineups for that game, the Cavs had like double the players available.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Yeah.
so definitely
So I
not.
was like, would you call it an upset
No,
though,
no, not
given the
on paper, but
yeah,
not even on paper, on the notice board, I guess. Because when you go on the
of the
paper, you
box?
see not much players available. So,
Exactly.
no, definitely. So tonight, then, I mean, we have the Hawks 76ers playing. That's a tight game right now. But
Yeah.
again, it's up in the air as to what teams have. And listen, man, at the way this is going, we're so close to Christmas. I'm not gonna expect much, but what I will do is kind of just turn my attention into 2022, um,
Okay.
and just kind of hope that things kind of normalize. Now, let me ask you a question about the league. Should the league have gone with a shorter season, space games out more, knowing you know the serious impact of COVID, players having to stop games, coming with less intensity, risking more injury? Should they have gone with a more spaced
I
out schedule, 60 games, let's spread it out to maybe two,
66,
3 games max a week?
65.
Yeah,
Um, I don't no. I think they thought that based
things
on
would be
getting the
good.
vaccinations
Yeah, it would be
and
enough.
everything, everybody getting vaccinated, or
Yeah,
almost making it mandatory, that they wouldn't come into a problem per
right,
se, as in, you might miss 1 or 2 games, but they didn't necessarily think that they would have another outbreak like this. So I don't think most people think that we would have gotten an outbreak like what we have now. Because I
right,
for sure didn't. I mean, I saw outbreak coming, but I didn't think it would come this fast. Right.
right,
So I don't think they saw it coming that this quickly as well. So that's why I was like, they probably all right, let's play games, man. Everybody's almost vaccinated. All
right,
we gotta do now is figure out a way how to play with it. So I think there are a couple reasons. The main reason is money, right? He already lost
right.
a whole almost had the bubble season, well, kind of the bubble playoffs, and then you had the kind of season that we had last year with no fans. I was losing money, and you bring the fans back to postpone games, make less games. That means less money, less TV time. I think that's one of the major factors behind the
Yeah,
decision, the
yeah,
money part, right? And I
yeah,
think they tried to ensure that all the players were vaccinated so that it wouldn't be as harsh, or the delay in the games wouldn't be, I might be out for like a week and then I'm back in,
right,
kind of
right.
thing, or I might be out for 2 days and I'm back in because
Yeah,
I'm already vaccinated. So it wouldn't be as difficult to manage or maneuver players around as it would have been if I was unvaccinated. At least that's what I
right.
think.
Yeah. No, and I agree with that. You have to consider that at the time we just weren't in this place. It wasn't even looking like a chance that we would end up in this place, right? You had
Exactly.
vaccination numbers heading up. You had more players, more openings across the country, pretty much in different cities. I mean, so it was looking like we were in a good place going forward, but now it's obviously we're back to square one almost.
Yeah.
Games being canceled outright, well, postponed and put off for a later date, and a lot
And
more players right now testing positive. So
the
number
thing
four,
and the thing about that though is, right, you have like what, 90 something percent players vaccinated, 93 or something like that, right? um the reason why players having him tested positive is that they're home, so fine, they know what they're doing, but it's like depending on the state that you go to, I think we discussed this too, depending on the state that you go to, it's more open than than the state that you're living in.
Yeah.
So like so you go, all right, we playing in Miami. Yo, let's hit the club, dog.
Right.
You know
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
So let's
Big time.
go. We
Big
could
time.
we could go outside here. There are
Yeah.
places to go here. So and I think that's how it starts. And then they bring it back to the team, and then the team, and then guys from other teams mingle with other guys from other teams because they're friends or whatever, and then that's how it goes. How viruses spread.
Yeah. Pretty much. Pretty easily too. Pretty
Yeah.
easily too. Um. Yeah. So that's one aspect. There was another thing. So given uh Shumpert's comments. I'm sure you saw him on a recent podcast talking about his triumph in Dancing with the Stars, and then he had some interesting comments to talk about in terms of LeBron James, the whole Michael Jordan. They asked him who was better. They asked him about KD and Golden State. I don't know if you got to see the interview, but if you
I
haven't,
didn't. I didn't see the full interview.
yeah, I would say definitely check that out because he went as far as to say LeBron. Remember, Shump played with Braun, right? But
Yes.
he also admits that he's a diehard. He refers to Chicago as we. So he's Chicago to the bone. When they asked him about Cleveland, he said, "Well, Cleveland traded me after 2016, so I resonate only with that 2016 team." In other words, Cleveland can go away pretty much all they want. And that was interesting but respectable, right? Is a guy that he's
Yeah,
moved around a
it's
lot
true
in the
though.
league, and
Yeah.
he's had his affinity to the city of Chicago. Hey, shout out to Shump for that. But at the same time, even though he's played with LeBron, I respect the fact that he came out and actually said LeBron ruined basketball with the move to Miami. I disagree. Super teams are a very old thing that's been proven. James Worthy, Magic, I mean, Kareem, all on one
I
squad.
mean,
Come on, man.
okay,
Stop it.
I see where he's coming from with that, because even though super teams were like an old school thing, they were weaning, they were getting away from it slowly, because you realized they had like a superstar here, a superstar there, a superstar there, a
Yeah.
superstar there,
Yeah.
right? So they were like, all right, so everybody gets their own team basically, or something like that, and we play ball. So when he
Right.
did that, it was like, oh, I didn't even think about that. Take a shorter or take a less contract, because when LeBron was manipulating them contracts from long.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's like, oh, Miami ain't got no taxes, so I could take a smaller contract, so it doesn't really matter.
So,
It's tax free.
yeah. This is
So,
why I disagree with them, right?
all right, let me.
One, I look at their records of the teams. You had a 73-9 team in Golden State, wrecking the league every year.
It's not the same thing.
Contenders, right? You take on KD, top 2 player in the league, and
Right.
add to that. The Cavs had to come back from 3-1. No one expected that. They did. It took
Right.
Kyrie and LeBron playing at, pretty much 1A, 1B at the time.
It really,
right?
it really was.
to equally great for a couple games, right?
Yeah.
You also had Miami's record. When you look at Miami was winning like 15 games, okay, when they brought in LeBron and Bosch.
15? The year before was
They
15?
were like 20 or 15 games.
Never.
Man, look, peep that. Let's just look it up, right? Look it up. Look up the 20. What is it? Look up the 09. So it'll be the 09 or 09-10 season. Look up their records
Okay.
from that season, and let me know what. If we want to wait, we could wait it out. But there was a distinct difference in the team that LeBron joined and the team that KD joined. All right. In the past, you could argue that it's happened before. You look at the Lakers, for example. If we want to say Braun ruined basketball, then you would have to look at multiple times. Look at Shaq going to the Lakers, and when did he leave? 90. He left the Magic in 96, right? 96,
They
97.
were 47 and 35.
All right, get out of here with that shit. Whatever. All right, fine. All right. They won 47 games.
Right. The
The
Cavs were
Lakers,
60, 61 and 21.
right? So he left a 61 winning 61 games ball club and went to 47. All right, cool. The Shaq left Orlando, pretty decent team, leaves Orlando and goes to LA to
Right.
join at the time Rice, right?
Right.
Eddie Jones, and don't get me wrong, at the time I was a fan of Eddie Jones. I wasn't a
And Nick
fan of the
Van
Lakers,
Exel.
but I liked Eddie Jones. He was number 6, right? Before Kobe started going off in as
Yeah.
number 8. Yeah. So I mean, you could say, I would have argued back then they didn't perform to the level that people thought they would, but that team was expected to win big with Shaq, right? Immediately.
Yeah.
We look at Karl Malone, Gary Payton, those guys joining. We could argue that, so there are different spaces, even when you look at after, right? You look at even KG. Look at KG. It took KG, Ray Allen. Rondo wasn't considered really a superstar then, but they
No.
had 3 superstars at the time
And
joined
they were
forces.
all past their prime though.
Oh, come on, man. When KG joined the first year, I'm talking the first, when he was
They were
facing
all
up against
past their
LA.
prime.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Yes or no, matter of fact. Was KG a top 15 player in the league when he joined Boston? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You say no, you're lying out your teeth, man. You say no, you're lying out your teeth.
Okay, he was still one of the top players in the NBA.
All right.
Top 20.
All right,
Because
good.
I remember I wanted him to join Kobe.
Good. So we're not done yet. And I think he mentioned too why he didn't join Kobe, right? So he said, what did he say? The Lakers? I can't remember the reason he didn't.
The Lakers and the Minnesota had some kind of who was ever in the front office at the time. They had something with the Lakers or something like that, so they would never trade with him.
Okay. Wow. Okay. That's messed up, man. But I think KG had mentioned, if you look it up, KG had mentioned some personal reason on how they approached him or something. I can't remember, but another question. We're not done there yet.
Okay.
You said past their prime, so
they were past their prime.
But past the prime becomes irrelevant when you're still a top 15 player in the league.
Okay, so he was just this. So KG was the only one starting on decline of his prime. Ray Allen was way past his prime.
Let me ask you, those first few years with Ray Allen, right, in Boston, was Ray Allen a top 25 player in the league at the time?
No.
Be careful with that answer, man.
No.
Was Ray Allen
No.
I deliberately expanded it to top 25, but
no. I'll probably say Pierce was probably a top 25.
Top 15, man. Pierce?
Pierce was probably top.
Yeah, I would say top 15, man. Like Pierce was money, man.
I don't really like the truth, but
I don't like him either, man. I don't like him either. Not my favorite player, man.
No,
but
not either. But
yeah, but
he got things done. But
he hit. You could say he was the best player on the team those years, right?
Oh yeah,
title
definitely.
winning year, and yeah. You know something funny? The year they won, who got the MVP?
Pierce.
Pierce won it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember that. So that was not that I cared, man. To be honest, that's one. The 2 finals where they met, I was just kind of like, all right, cool. Because we know at what expense it came at, right? So for me, it was kind of like, man, what we got denied, man. To me, this, and I know we're off on a tangent right now, but I'll put something out there. I think LeBron goes to the finals and loses to Kobe. It benefits Kobe's legacy even more. Because if he loses those finals to Kobe, let me tell you, there's no way you could put him ahead of Kobe.
Listen, even if it was just one final, like the one with Orlando, where I thought they were going to meet in the finals, right? The Lakers were killing that year. I don't think it could have stopped Kobe that year. So if Kobe won, right, that series, and that was the only series they met, there's no way you could be putting LeBron ahead of him.
This is what I would say, right? My thing is that I think it's a matchup issue that they faced in the East with that Orlando team. and the Lakers were better coached to deal with the shooting. So you had
Yes.
a guy that could make adjustments live. Where I mean, you're looking at guys that just started as head coaches, LeBron carrying them in during those years. So that Cavs team that lost was losing to the
They didn't
Boston
have.
team.
Yeah, they didn't have
And
the roster though.
didn't have the roster. And then you
No.
had the Cavs team the final year that lost to the Magic.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just, oh my goodness, man. You could see it coming because, you had to hit that game winner just to win a game, really,
Just to win a
against
game.
them.
And
And it
that
just,
that reminded me of the year Kobe had to hit the game winner over the
was it
the
the Suns?
Pistons.
No, the
Yeah.
Pistons. Okay, Pistons.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That time it
Yeah.
was reminiscent to that time. It was like you're forcing to get a three just to win a game, and you're like, damn, bro,
Yeah.
you ain't winning the series.
And that's why people say, you know what, sometimes it's better to lose before you get to the final than lose in the final, because that's
Because
where
if you lost to Kobe in that
the
finals, it was
legacy. Yeah. But
that's all
honestly,
they would say, yo. Who
but
won?
you look at the regular season games, that matchup would have been amazing. Let me tell you, we were robbed because these two guys, people don't see it, but you look at just the clips. They didn't have enough games together because they're not in the same conference.
Yeah, it's only
And the
only two a
games,
year.
but in the games they had, you have
It was
you have
so
Kobe
good.
calling for the
It
ISO.
was so good.
You have LeBron calling out ISO,
ISO,
ISO.
ISO.
I mean, oh my goodness! Could you imagine this
ISO,
level of shit
ISO.
in the finals? In the finals?
Yeah, that would have been good.
Ooh.
Thing is, right? Even when LeBron went to the Heat, they still had great games.
They had great games. So I don't want to skip off on people. On social media, someone says the league knows LBJ ruined the league. Now he's about to go back to Cleveland, ruin a nice young core group. He's not. So that Rich Paul actually came out and said that that's simply not true. I saw that rumor floating around, and I'll tell you what, it makes absolutely no sense for him to leave and actually I think it was Chiron, had to be Chiron to say something like that. Why am I not
Must be
surprised
Kyra.
there?
This must
Um,
be Kyra.
he didn't ruin the league, Chiron, but what I would say is this,
He
right?
did start a revolution.
He started a revolution, definitely, definitely. He wouldn't go back to Cleveland. One, kids, everybody resettled down after leaving the first time in LA. His wife has all sorts of investments there now, so
Yep.
they're really planted there. So, I don't think he wants to be away from his family, especially with his boys and Bryce
No,
playing the way he is.
He's thinking more about the family now than he's thinking about
And
himself.
before, yeah. Why go back to Cleveland now where you're not even sure? The coaching, you're not sure about. It's still the same ownership. And
He's gonna
why gotta
retire.
do
He's
that?
gonna retire on the Lakers.
Yeah. It makes no sense unless something different where Cleveland kind of the ownership in Cleveland say, okay, if you come back here and retire,
We'll give you the
we
team.
give you the team.
Yeah.
That's the only way I see him going back.
Yeah,
But he's
definitely.
not stupid. You're not going to leave a market like LA where
Because
you
he
can
wants to
movies.
own a team just like
Wants to own a
MJ.
team, and it makes sense. I think he looks at Cleveland like, all right, I am a god. After coming back and winning that title, they raised everything, and you're not gonna leave that on the table. I mean, if they offer you that, So at the end of the day, I would say I hate seeing him in historical pictures in an LA uniform. It just doesn't scream well for me. I like seeing that. That 16 to 18 Cleveland uniform on him is what really fits him.
Fair.
But another comment was LBJ went to the finals 2 years before leaving Cleveland. They were making the playoffs every year, and he left with a 61-21 record. The truth is, he needed a championship under his belt after 7 years in the league as a chosen one. Yeah, you have to, man. I mean,
I
you
do
have
not disagree with that.
yeah, but I mean, it's what I thought was unfair. When you look at what Boston did, I look at as a fan, I hated that Boston team, man. I hated that. That was a serious rivalry with Boston fans. I have old clips, of me in Buffalo Wild Wings in college, like crying after a game where they lost to that Boston team in the playoffs, man. And I mean, literally, I could tell you that looking at the coaching staff, looking at the ownership, looking at just everything where he was going, you could see on the wall, he wasn't gonna get it done. This man could drop. Look at what the things he was doing, right? This man was scoring 25 straight points in the fourth quarter against Detroit, beating a championship level team, that beat the Lakers to
Yep.
go to the finals, right? I mean, we need to put these things in perspective. This man was
That
killing
was
his
that
body.
was that was
Yeah,
absolutely fantastic, by the
yeah,
way.
yeah. So at the end of the day, you had to leave. I mean, you have to leave. There's loyalty, and then there's common sense at the end of the day. And sometimes you gotta look at common sense and equate yourself. So
So
um,
a lot of men don't know this, but I always wanted LeBron and Kobe to play together.
that would have been sick. Well, we got a bit of it for Team USA, and we saw what they did, man. I tell you now,
Crazy.
that redeem team would beat the dream team. I know some people would disagree with me, but I
No,
said
I
I
think
said what I said.
I think
Said
you
what I
have a
said.
valid point.
Said what I said.
They probably have to
You
add
know.
Shaq, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The big category. They'll definitely get some trouble with Hakeem. And
Yeah.
well, not what am I saying? Not Hakeem, but
Not Hakeem.
you'd
David
struggle
Robinson.
against David Robinson
Yeah.
because they don't have. I'm trying to think. For
They
that
had
dream,
Dwight.
they had Dwight, prime
They
Dwight.
had Dwight and Chris Bosh.
Yeah, and that wasn't necessarily prime Dwight they had, right?
No.
Yeah, no, it was post prime, but still good enough to
Yes.
do things. So I think they would have to add like
They
a
would
piece
have
to
they would
that.
have had problems.
Yeah, definitely. Um, but we're looking at positions 1, 2, 3, absolute domination, absolute domination.
Who did they start
Four,
again? They
four
started Jake.
even.
They started J Kidd, Kobe, LeBron.
LeBron, and
What?
was
Who
it
was
Melo on
the
the
other?
bench? Melo was on the bench.
I think so. I think Melo came off the bench.
Yeah. I mean, that
He
team
was the
was
spark of
stacked,
the
man.
bench.
You had Wade off the bench.
Yes, he had weight off the
I
bench too.
mean, how do you beat that? How do you
I
beat that?
don't know.
You know?
I don't know.
So I'm going with the redeem team, man. And listen, man, I know a lot of people have a affinity for that 92 that dream team effectively, but
Oh yeah. Well, I
you
mean,
got to you have to give props, man, to that squad, man, that redeem team. They came to kill everything in front of them, man.
yeah. Well, yeah. John Stockton, Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley, and who started? David Robinson, I think.
Yeah, David Robinson, I think. Yeah.
That
It
was the
it
first dream team.
it honestly, um, for me, I respect the legends and props to them, but yeah, there's no way that you're gonna beat that team, to be honest. Yeah. Um. So he's Chiron saying, but we will leave that for an on-air discussion someday
When you
when we
come in,
break
Karen. When
everything
you
down.
come in.
And you're coming, man. Listen, here's the thing, right, Chiron? I want to put this out there. There's one thing where you could step on the show and be, come on with a special guest, but we want you as a dedicated guest on the panel, the main guest. You're not hiding behind or allowing anybody else. Nah, man. Let come on the show, you and Pianki, all right, and let's do this. Let's have a panel. Let's sit down. Let's hear your case, all right. Because, as I said, for me, I'll put it out there, and I think my co-host agrees. To a certain degree, I think I've heard you agree with me before. The hierarchy of basketball, at least from a positional perspective.
Right.
So we'll see. Come on the show next. Listen, we'll sort things out. We'll sort things out. All right. But
I'm on the show now.
come on the show, man. Come on the show. So definitely, no, I think that's interesting. We were deprived a few years, man, and it's kind of sad to that happened effectively. But everything happens for a reason, man. Everything in the league happens for a reason.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So I'm gonna. You have Let me ask you. Do you have your random players? I know you have a video for us to break down, right?
Yeah, well, I already break down. So it's like a showcase of how young guys should really be playing defense and
Okay.
how he's really good for his age. He's only 19. and he's really good at defense right now.
Okay. All right. All right. We can go live with it.
Let's go with it.
All right. Cool.
Goodness gracious, Marshawn Beauchamp!
Man, he is locked in right now. I don't know if I've ever seen him get up quite that high.
Yeah, so we're watching a couple clips of him, so you know. Look how quickly he covers. Look how quickly he's able to cover the court, switch on defense.
Oh yeah.
Look at that.
Second effort there.
This is transition defense right now.
Murky the other way, has the ball knocked away.
Got some sneaky hands too.
Stockton needs a basket. Kada going to work. Triple team. Balls. No look here, Lewis. He was caught up. Others had hit a triple in
Yeah,
the
he
first half.
covers a lot of ground.
Recovery is great. He has a great, nice little wingspan. Plays off the ball defense. Help side defense. Oh man.
25 team assists for OKC. Can't make tough shot.
Active hands. Always has an active hand.
He's not even eligible.
What's his height?
2023.
He's like 6'7".
Skip pass to the corner. Carson Edwards is short.
Derry Weather's been racing to the rim.
Players not as professional, but also as young men. A lot of you guys should be college freshmen.
Recovery.
Souls working into the paint. Back out to Daniel to go in the third.
Kane to tie it. Blocked by
Jason Hart has got these kids playing hard.
Look at this recovery, man. Look at that recovery. It's against Lance. It's good D. It's good D.
Take, strong take, and also was predicated by great spacing from Ignite. And Salt Lake City had nobody in help defense.
Sheesh.
Yeah, that's insane. And what's crazy is he's
stay with the
6'7",
Stars. There's Mike
and able
Schmitz.
to recover off
Such
of
great work
perimeter
with
players, man.
ESPN, and you can
Exactly.
catch his.
Yeah,
Athletic perimeter players.
Yeah,
Athletic.
that's
perimeter.
nuts. That's nuts.
Yo, and he's 19.
Yeah, that's nuts. That's nuts. The level of discipline I'm seeing from that player is insane. So he's in the G League right now?
He's in the
As
G
it
League right
stands?
now.
Okay.
He took a year. He was a great high school prospect, but he took a year off. I can't remember what was the reason he took the year off.
Okay.
So he took a year off, and then he signed with the G League team Ignite. Is Ignite? Yeah, Ignite.
Okay.
Right, and he's playing for them right now.
Yeah,
But I have him as one of my top draft. I think he's probably ranked like 7 on the draft list right now. The last time I saw.
So,
But I love the way he plays defense.
his offense. What about his offense though? How is he on
His
the
offense is pretty good as well.
Okay.
He got a nice little jump shot. He get ability to pass the ball. He sees well. The only thing is, I mean, obviously he's young, so his decision making has to get a little better.
Right.
Especially, and his shot selection has to get a little better. But I mean, apart from that, he has a nice. It's not like he has to work extra hard like Lonzo had to work hard on his jumper, right? That kind of stuff. But he plays well, really well.
Yeah, no, that's a huge prospect coming in, man. So I'm actually looking forward to that now that you brought him up. Might have to look up some
I think
of
I
his
have him
clips.
marked. Right now, I have him marked as number 7.
Number 7.
Yeah.
We preparing for a draft pretty much. So no, that makes sense, man. That makes sense. Do you have a number 1 prospect right now in the country?
Not right now.
Okay.
I have some guys like in the top 10, but I have him like going. But I have him for sure like going like 7, 8, 9, somewhere down there. But I haven't. I just said 7 because that was the highest one.
Right. All right.
But
so
I don't have I have to come up with a final list.
Okay. So I got, obviously we're going into that segment I like to bring up every week where we get to rate a few players.
Let's go.
We ready to rate them?
Let's go.
All right. Here we go. All right. So we got our player scale here. For people who are seeing this for the first time, we got top 5 ever. We got best of an era, superstar, star, all-star, exceptional talent, NBA player, G League, should not be in the league, doesn't know basketball. All right, we'll start first. He's no longer in the league, but had some key roles. Jared Dudley.
Ooh. NBA player. He was a good role player. I liked his role player. He was a good role player.
Yeah, he's a solid role player. Solid role player.
He knew what he was supposed to do. He knew his job and what he was supposed to do.
Yep. I got another name for you. Jabari Parker.
G League.
Ooh. I thought you were going to say exceptional talent, man. Wow.
No.
Wow.
Here's the reason why I say G League, right?
Yeah.
He was supposed to be this exceptional player. Called it. And then
absolutely.
I don't know what happened, but he turned into a bust.
Yeah.
In terms of where he fell in the draft, it was what, second?
Yeah, it was like second, yeah.
Right? So he was a second draft pick. And what you have is nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not as bad as
he's gone. I would say NBA player. At times
a role player, I guess.
He's kind of come in as he was looked at. I remember when Chicago signed him, and there was still some hype around what he could do.
Yeah, because he could have played ball.
And it's just, I remember Milwaukee at one point had signed him as well. Same expectations. So teams gave him multiple chances, man, and just never came to fruition, really.
What was his problem?
No, I think he ran into an injury. If you can remember, I think he did face like injuries, right? So that did slow his career a bit. But I have him as really an NBA player. I do agree with you that he expectation. You look at the expectations and then what was delivered, and that's where you start struggling.
I saw him as having a better career than Wiggins did.
Absolutely. Well, the expectations were up there, right?
Yes.
People were expecting a lot from this guy, man. D'Angelo Russell.
Ooh. All-star. I like D'Angelo. He's great. He knows he knows his strengths and weaknesses, and he does them well.
Yeah,
especially his strengths. He knows the pass. He can shoot. He gives you what you got to get.
I have to agree with that.
I like D'Angelo.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd agree with that.
He'd be perfect with LeBron.
Yeah. Let's get you someone else here. Andre Drummond.
Exceptional talent. I don't think people understand how hard it is to get 20 rebounds a game, and he does that almost on a regular basis. It's not it's not a matter of it's a lucky bounce and it's going out there and putting yourself in position to get that rebound. And now he's not great on the offensive end, but
I can't put him
defensively and rebounding.
Yeah, I can't put him as an all-star. So definitely exceptional talent. I would put him as, because the other parts of his game too are you have players that are refined, not the greatest. He's just poor in some aspects of his game.
Yes,
that weighs down even the elite, because he's doing if you were to just judge him based on, and sometimes you could look at it as unfair, but there are levels. Even when you look at Dennis Rodman, his common sense, his IQ was still at championship level.
Dennis was a much smarter player.
Smart. He knew how to disrupt the flow of elite level players. This guy was there's a reason, people look at it as, well, they got him because of what he did against Malone or what he could do against Malone. No, this guy was a problem for Michael Jordan.
Yep.
On Detroit.
And for Scotty too.
And for Scotty. That's why they got him. Eliminate your problems and let those problems serve you and be a problem to others. So it's So even when you consider that from Drummond, just his rebound, which is elite level type rebounding, I still can't shift him out of that exceptional talent
Agreed.
area because his
Agreed.
game is so limited.
Yeah.
Seth Curry.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Exceptional talent. I think his ability to shoot the ball efficiently is something to look for, because most people don't realize he shoots it very effectively.
Yeah, he does.
Right?
He does.
I mean, he doesn't get as much shots as Steph, but when he does shoot, he makes it.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, without a doubt, without a doubt. You know what? I think he's approaching exceptional talent because he's been showing that he can be an exceptional talent for maybe the past 2.5 years.
Yeah, his handles too have gotten better.
Yeah, so he's made progression, but for me, I will put him at the top level of that NBA player category because I haven't seen what he can really do
by himself.
By himself or those things when you have to rely on him much. But I would say he's approaching, if he can maintain the level at what he's at, I think then he approaches that. He's definitely going to be in that exceptional talent area.
Yeah, definitely.
Terry Rozier.
Scary Terry?
Scary Terry, man. The one-man army that
he's shown glimpses of exceptional talent, and then he's shown a lot of NBA player. Let's go NBA player because he's giving me more NBA player than exceptional.
Scary Terry? No way. No way. You know what? Let me tell you, man. You trolling with that shit. Let me tell you. There's no way you take
listen, there's no way I can give Seth exceptional and not give Scary Terry exceptional as well. He's an exceptional talent.
What? I'm shocked.
Scary's exceptional.
Wow. Yeah, you know what? I see where you're going with it, right? Because then you would have to make him an all-star and really...
And he's not an all-star.
Not an all-star. Yeah. I get where you're coming with that. I have to agree. But we've seen so many big game nights from Terry, but it's not like
that was what I'm saying. It's not like I know what he could do, but he doesn't do it on a consistent basis.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. Especially when you consider impact on the game, to game, his impact. It just doesn't seem to shift the needle, right? So, no, I definitely get where you're coming from. I got another one for you. So I think I had asked you one week about DeRozan, right?
Yes. And I said like the Joe Johnson level.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not star, but not superstar.
Yeah, that's an interesting take. Yeah, the Joe Johnson comment is huge too with that. Yeah, that's spot on. I think Trae Young was the question now.
Ooh, Trae. I want to say superstar. This is based off what he showed in the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
The last playoffs. He showed that he could be a big time player.
Yeah.
And he's been doing it.
I struggle giving him that green.
It's like above star, but just not quite superstar. But it has to be superstar.
Yeah, I give him star, and the reason for that is I think he's on a good team. He's and can show. He showed his ability to take pressure. I need at least 2 more seasons. Don't get me wrong. He's one of the faces. We always ask that question. is the league in good hands? He's one of those guys that gives you belief, that the league is in good hands. I have to agree with that.
Yeah, and I
Um,
mean that's still one of the best trades ever made.
oh yeah, I mean, you look at what was given up, and under any sort of circumstance, you'd be like, they are crazy. But the mere fact that both situations worked out the way they did is just
I mean,
incredible.
it's
But
crazy.
trust me, both teams in that situation are kind of like, oh my
Exactly. Like this worked out better for us, and you're like, yeah, this worked out better for us too. Because I don't think, like, even if they stayed, I don't think they would have worked as well.
I say this though. I say this to you though. Um, I think Luca has higher upside than Trey.
I agree.
Yeah. So I still think part of the front office in Atlanta, despite me thinking the same as you, by the way, I fully agree with you that Luca in Atlanta is something off about that. But
Yeah.
you know what? I know there's part of that Atlanta front office that's looking at Luca like, man, this guy could
You should have
potentially
taken
be
him.
in the blue. This guy could be in the blue. Because they're going to be playing into a different era than LeBron's and
Yes.
those other guys, right? So to me, you could still be a best of an era essentially type player. Now, I question his longevity in the league because he has some miles on him prior to coming into the league.
Yeah, because the
at
Euro
that
League.
professional, and we know those rules are a bit different, right? So
Yeah,
it's
a little
questionable
tougher.
to see how that works out. And he doesn't miss a beat on the international level like NBA players. So I wonder what that does for the mileage on him, man. And
But his
how that's
game is not like a athletic game. It's more of
yeah,
a
it's not.
patience. It's a little patient game.
Yeah.
So it
Yep.
shouldn't be that difficult for him to manage so much.
Yeah, he's not afraid to go in, So
No, he's not.
I mean, so we'll see. I mean, we'll see how it works out. But definitely agree. I agree. But definitely, I would say he has the chance to be up there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Now I have 3 more for you.
All right.
So and shout out to Giselle, by the way.
Hey, what up, G?
So the next player I have is an interesting one. Give me what you think on Zach LaVine.
Stop.
Yeah,
But he's rising. He's rising quick. He could be an all-star. He could be a superstar.
he's been. Yeah, what I would say is he's been a superstar on certain nights for Chicago.
Yes, on certain nights he's been a
But-
superstar.
but
especially last season.
Yeah, but that's in part to because when you're playing with not a ready team that's or a contender, so to
look
speak,
good.
you can come out and really put it in.
Yeah.
Another player, I think I asked you about Miles Bridges already. I think I asked you about Murray already. So what I'm gonna ask you is, what about Rajon Rondo?
He wasn't a superstar. I'd say he was a star. 'Cause
Superstar.
He wasn't exactly a superstar, but he was
I'd
more
say
of a star.
star. I'd say
Yeah,
star.
he was
right?
more of a star. He
Yeah.
not that superstar-ish, but he was a star.
Yeah. No, I have to agree with that. What about Draymond Green?
Best of an era, yo.
You kidding, right? You better take that shit back.
I'm going based on what Draymond said. I'm going based on what Draymond.
Oh
Draymond
my
says
God.
he feels like he's one of the greatest of all time. Okay.
Oh my God. These,
All right.
these
But
guys
anyway,
will run the these guys-
realistically, I have Draymond as a star.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. You could arguably, because of his defensive credentials, the fact that he's played a pivotal role on a championship team, you could argue that he's a popular player, a very popular player, but
But the thing is, the thing
that's
about
tough.
Draymond, it's hard to measure
Yeah,
his impact on the court.
it is hard.
Yeah. So he's one of those guys where you look at his stats and be like, well, he didn't do anything. But then you watch the game and you'll be like, he did everything.
Final player, Klay Thompson.
Ooh, Clay's a superstar.
Would you put him above that?
Yeah, he could be the best of era for 3-pointers. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Yeah. No, I would say
in terms of 3-point shooting, I have him in the best of era.
yeah, but yeah, I would definitely say he's a superstar.
Yeah,
for sure.
He's clear-cut superstar.
Yeah, he's a superstar.
If he wasn't injured for the last 2 years, he would definitely be the first thing that would come out of my mouth was best of era.
Yeah. I have to agree with that.
Yeah.
No, that's interesting, man. That's interesting. Good take, man. Good take. You made it through it.
Barely.
So you're drinking a shot next time, right? We get on the show. So that's good.
Yes, sir.
And then I'm hoping that we can get Chiron in. And I'm gonna put this out there, by the way. We're gonna be inviting guests on. We're gonna try to see if we can bring a guest on. We're gonna give you pretty much 15 to 20 minutes of airtime with us. Talk about the player that you want to talk about, the team you want to talk about. All right. All you have to do, and this can be going into 2022, all you have to do is tell us the team that you're interested in talking about. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's easy.
Tell us the team, the players, or player. If you want to focus on one guy, one player, and we go from there. So stay tuned for more of that. And we'll definitely get to that point. But the focus right now is to get. I'm telling you, I'm getting tired of the running around. We're trying to get Chiron and Pianki on the show so that we can get that panel going.
Yeah.
Right? Yep.
So let's I'm not sure if we're still gonna get these games on Saturday.
Right.
So, but let's just do
let's still plan for it, man. I'm on that streak. There's no way I'm passing that up. Come on. There's no way I'm passing that up.
Let's do a quick pick.
All right,
Hawks or Knicks. I got Hawks.
Give me the Knicks. They have Kemba back in the lineup, man. He's doing well. So I'll take the Knicks, man. Give me the Knicks.
Wow.
Man. Give me the Knicks.
All right, Celtics or Bucks? I got the C's. I gotta go with my boy Tim. Although that's gonna be a good game.
Depends on the lineup, man. Who's available?
Exactly, right? Exactly.
You know what? Give me I'll take the Bucks, man. Bucks
I knew you would. I knew you
Bucks
would take the
it.
Bucks. Warriors or Suns? That one's tough. Yeah,
Where are they playing? Where are they playing?
They are playing at the Suns. I'm gonna take the Suns.
You jumped out clear ahead, even though you're asking me the question, right?
All
right, give me the Warriors, man. Give me the Warriors. Warriors take it.
All right. Nets and Lakers.
Man, the Lakers are so bad, but the Nets don't have players to use. This one's a tough one, man. A head scratcher, man. I'll give me the Lakers, man. Give me the Lakers.
Damn. You know, I was gonna say the same thing. That was just based on safety protocols.
Yeah.
Just based on safety protocols alone.
But you have a couple days, right? You have tomorrow, and then.
Well, there are no games tomorrow.
Right, but I'm saying they have tomorrow to recover some of those players.
Yeah, I think it was either yesterday or today. I saw James Harden went into protocol. So, you still want to change? You want to change your answer, or you're leaving it the same way?
You know, there's a chance that the bench from BK beats LA, right? Or
there's always
squad.
that. That's a possibility.
Team is so bad, bro. Yeah. All right.
So the last game on Christmas Day is Mavericks and Jazz.
Give me the Jazz.
Yeah, I'm taking the Jazz too as well. So the only we're different on 2 games. Well, no, we have 3 games that's different. So
Yeah,
should be
a lot of
interesting.
room for winning, man.
Lot of room.
So, a lot of room.
Yeah.
So,
So let's see how that works out.
all right, cool. Well,
Yeah. Woo.
well, that takes care of that. I'm ready for more shots next week, and definitely let's see how that goes. We'll keep you posted via the page. Follow us across the different sites that we have. Of course, the videos are available on YouTube on demand. We
That's
have
right.
Facebook, the group here, and we have the Instagram that you can
Twitter.
pull up, and Twitter as well. So follow us, like, subscribe where you can, and I hope you do enjoy this show. Go back to past episodes. We have a lot of rundowns and evaluations on different teams. We talk about the coaching, the defense. We break it down. We have a lot of cool stuff coming up ahead. As I told you last episode, we have a special guest. We're not gonna give the name away, and giveaways. And
Oh,
giveaways.
I got a guess there's 2 as well that wants to come on, man.
All right. Well, the door's open. The door is open. So, so we definitely will have a lineup for you coming up. That's going to discuss a lot of the ball and the evolving situations with the protocols and just how the league is going and what's going to transpire in the playoffs. Just know once you come on the show, you're going to be on the hot seat. So prepare yourself. Definitely. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Collective Bargaining Podcast.
Thank you guys for coming out. We appreciate y'all as always. And don't forget, be safe out there. Season's greetings. Merry Christmas to those who celebrate Christmas. Happy
Definitely.
Hanukkah, happy holidays.
Merry Christmas and happy holidays. Happy New Year too. Well, we'll be back before
We'll
the
be
New
back
Year's,
next
but
week.
definitely, folks, enjoy the holiday season. All right.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Cool. Before we go, I gotta add some of this stuff, man. Let's get the jingles going, man. Jingles. We gotta get the jingles going, man. All right, folks.
We got you should have mixed it with a little snow and sand.
I know, right? And well, there's that too, right? There's that too.
Yeah.
But folks, definitely we'll catch up with you guys. Blessings.